With the Booster Course Pass finally finished and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe has finally settled down, we can only assume we'll be getting a new Mario Kart game in the near future. Mario Kart 10 has been speculated a lot in the past, but now that we're closer than ever to a new Mario Kart game, I thought there would be no better time to share my thoughts on the retro tracks that I think will be included in Mario Kart 10. I also think it worth mentioning that my proposed gimmick of the game would be flying, which would work just like gliding, but you wouldn't go downwards. You would stay in the air until the flying section ended. Gliding would still be a part of the game, but a lot of retro tracks' gliding sections would become flying ones. Starting off with the Shell Cup. Peach Circuit is one of the tracks that over time has had the biggest glow up in the franchise. The way Mario Kart Tour remade Peach Circuit is why I want it in the game. It just looks incredible. I imagine Choco Islands 2 being made to look similar to N64 Choco Mountain but in clear HD. The track would be a brown island alone in an ocean of melted chocolate, and it could also have a chocolate river that you could drive in. Shy Guy Bazaar is in basically everybody's list, and it's no doubt why. This is the most unique desert track in Mario Kart and would be great to drive through in HD. Toad's Factory has been robbed time and time again of being included as a retro track, and I think if Mario Kart 10 doesn't have Toad's Factory, I would be shocked. The track is just so fun to race on and has great opportunity for flying and anti-gravity sections. If Mario Kart 10 happens, Toad's Factory has to be included. Now on to the Banana Cup. Frappe Snowland is a festive ice track and probably one of my personal favourites. In this remake, the track could be given more life in the form of new snowman Goombas to avoid, or a frozen over underwater section just like in Rosalina's Ice World on the 3DS. Electrodrome is a unique take on a music-themed track, being based on a traditional nightclub or disco. All I would change about the track is a flying section where you could get a speed boost by flying by the nearby speakers to propel you forward. The vibe of this track is just so different to the others. Broken Pier would be remade in the same way as Boo Lake was, but with more added spice. It would include an anti-gravity section where you skim the water above you, or a flying section where you need to avoid the boos as part of the track. When you're on the last lap, the floor will fall away. Woohoo Loop is just perfect the way it is. The track perfectly encapsulates the beautiful island setting of Wii Sports and Wii Sports Resort. The only thing I could imagine adding is an optional flying section across the volcano path. The third retro cup, the Egg Cup. Shy Guy Falls is one of the most popular Mario Kart 8 tracks. I mean, why wouldn't it be? You get to drive up and down waterfalls and glide into a ginormous canyon. This track is a visually stunning one, and I can only imagine what it would look like with upgraded visuals. Shy Guy Falls is an obvious inclusion. Delfino Square makes its return from Mario Sunshine. This track is really fun to drive on, and I loved the various paths you could take, especially in the Wii version. This, along with the fact it represents an entire game, makes it an easy return to be included in Mario Kart 10. I've heard enough of everyone talking about how N64 Wario Stadium is the only N64 track that's never been remade, so hopefully including it will shut people up about that. Because of its length, it could be made into a 2-lap course. Of course, it would be made more interesting that way. Dino Dino Jungle is one of the best tracks that we didn't see return in the Booster Course Pass, so for that reason I think it should be included in this game's lineup of retro courses. It would have great opportunity for a flying section where you dodge various dinosaur heads. Next, the Star Cup. Mushroom City makes an appearance as the first track in the penultimate Retro Cup. There isn't much to say about Mushroom City that hasn't been said many times before, but I do think that this track is a no-brainer to include. As the only Mario Kart Tour track not added in the BCP, Nintendo needs to find a way to preserve Piranha Plant Pipeline somehow. The most simple way to do this is to add it to MK10. This is why I think Piranha Plant Pipeline will be a track in the next Mario Kart game. Airship Fortress was expected for the BCP but never came. The fact we didn't get Airship Fortress still baffles me. Airship Fortress is long deserving of a spot in this game, and it's definitely one of Mario Kart's most fun tracks that has ever existed. I still can't believe that this track wasn't in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, so it definitely has to be here. Mount Wario is my favourite Mario Kart 8 track, and I think a lot of people feel the same way. This is why I think it is a certain addition to the retro tracks lineup in Mario Kart 10. It's just so fun racing down the snowy slopes of the largest mountain in the Mario universe, and every lap being different is the icing on the cake. Finally, the Special Cup. When Mario Kart 8 came out, Cloud Top Cruise went sort of under the radar, but as the game grew older, more and more people started to see the appeal of the track. The storm section of this track would match perfectly with the new flying gimmick, and the track itself just has completely unique theming to the rest of the tracks in the game. Personally, I love Cloud Top Cruise. Traditional desert tracks aren't known in Mario Kart for being good, but the only exception is Dry Ruins. This track from the Wii has great design, music, and difficulty, making it one of the most replayable courses in the game. Not only this, but the temple in the track would fit great for anti-gravity, and perhaps they could do what they did for Dry Desert and make the Oasis a water section. Mario Kart Tour managed to remake SNES Bowser's Castle to look really good and still keep the core track layout the same, so the possibilities for this track in a mainline game are endless. This Bowser's Castle is in big need for a revamp, so adding it to MK10 would be a great idea to smooth out the rough edges. Every Mario Kart game needs a retro Rainbow Road, and recently they seem to have been doing it in an order. MK7 had SNES Rainbow Road, and 8 had N64. So I think this game would have the Game Boy Advanced version. It would need a serious redesign, but have you seen what they did to Ribbon Road? This is Ribbon Road in this game. I imagine there being a section where you can drive through the spaceship in the background. These are the 20 retro tracks I would add to a Mario Kart 10. This is only part 1 of the series, so if you want part 2, remember to like and subscribe. It's free, and I'm not far off 100. See you next time.